All right. So, like I said, I've been watching tons of real estate videos because I'm just excited about getting into real estate now myself and it actually being a reality, not just me researching real estate for one day, maybe looking into it, but the fact that I already own my first real estate property, I'm already renovating it, makes it all seem so much more real and applicable. And it makes me so much more interested in learning more about real estate because I'm actually in the game. It's not like a hypothetical, what if one day I want to do this to expand my investing, diversify it more instead of all stock market now having some real estate. Like that's something conventional wisdom says is sometimes a good idea for certain people, certain personality types, whatever. Um, so, anyways, in all my research, most of the people on YouTube, like I said, are using leverage. They're getting loans for all kinds of stuff, and they think loans are great. But Dave Ramsey says not to. And where's all the people that heed Dave Ramsey's advice as it pertains to real estate? Where are those people as far as YouTube channels? Does anyone know? I'm the only one that I know of that's actually doing it the Dave Ramsey way, which he says save in cash to buy your first rental. Buy the rental, fix it up, rent it out, stack the cash, save up, buy the next rental, get a renter in, stack now cash from two rentals. Once that gets big enough, buy the third. Continue stacking cash with now those three. Rinse, repeat. Each rental is acquired faster and faster because the cash stacks faster and faster because you've got so many people paying rent now and you've got no mortgages you're paying. Your cash flow is really high because you're not paying mortgage now. Um, and I think there might be another upside. I'm not sure on this, but I wonder, do you have to get property insurance if you don't have a mortgage? I think mortgages require you to get insurance because that protects the bank's investment. But do you have to get insurance if you don't have that? I don't have insurance. And I don't want insurance. Is that riskier? Yeah, I guess. That's how insurance works. If you don't have insurance, you're taking more risk. But unlike with a car where you have to have car insurance to drive, I don't think you have to have house insurance to have a house. You probably just have to get it if you get loans. So that's a significant savings every month. I think it's like 80 or 100 a month I save in my overhead. They call that holding costs. My holding costs are insanely low compared to every other YouTuber I see. Basically, my holding costs are property taxes alone. That's it. I don't have any bank loans, nothing, just property tax. And the property tax is about $48 a month. So my total holding costs are $48 a month. That's it. So it's about 500 or 600 a year is my total holding costs. And I have no utilities, no water, no gas, no trash pickup, and no uh, lawn care, no property management, no contractors, nothing. So for 5 to 600 a year, somewhere in there, $550 a year, I can have this house as long as I want, as long as I keep the city happy that some type of progress is happening and no work's happening without permits. I can drag out my permits to make sure they don't start escalating things and summon me to court again. So the red tag is there and it's going to stay there, is my understanding, until um, the house is basically like no violations, at least none visible from the road, and that's going to be a while. And I cannot legally take that down. The code enforcement department has to take that down. Also, they put a no occupancy, unsafe to live in, do not inhabit sign. That means no one can move in. So I understand that that has to be reversed legally. They would have to give you a writ of occupancy or something like that. Like they have to reapprove it for someone to live in it, and you would have to regain that privilege. So that privilege is not a privilege I have right now. So in order to get cleared for that, I'm gonna have to do a lot of work, and I guess someday they just notice all that work has been done somehow. I'm not sure how it all pans out. I don't know how that process works. But yeah, because I've got no hard money loans or commercial or traditional loans or anything to worry about, and I paid in cash, just property taxes is my total overhead. So that means I have low stress and I can just pay as I go as far as the renovations and take my time and do it as cheaply as possible. That means I have the luxury of trying to look for deals where people are throwing away lumber and stuff, and I can just salvage it from the trash and be able to use it for the property renovations. Same thing for bricks or you name it, screens, doors, whatever, drywall, anything, paint, cement, I don't know. So, oh, and like appliances, that'll be huge. I want to get all my appliances for free. And another note on that, I want to do all the property management myself, and I want to get all appliances for free. Um, and even if they're broken, I want to fix them. And then for my property management strategy, I want to get backups of every appliance and have those backups in the crawl space. And then if an appliance breaks down, I just pull out the backup and replace it. And I fix the broken down one and put that in the crawl space. But the immediate replacement with a working replacement appliance that was also gotten for free will buy me time to fix the old appliance and then put it back in the crawl space to rinse repeat this process. So I never have to buy appliances ever. That will cut down my costs by a lot. The roofing I will always fix myself. And I think you can drag out the life of a roof way longer than anybody believes or suspects. Banks, I think, make you, or insurance companies make you replace roofs way before you really have to. You can fix cracks. You can reseal shingles. You can do so much to maintain and fix and keep up a roof. I think a roof should be able to last 50 years. I think it's possible. I think what actually causes roofs to fail, like long term thinking wise, is when the granules get washed off over time. That's the little rocks on top of the roof shingles. But you can buy replacement granules or even collect, if you actually want to, you could collect the granules, filter it out from the dirt around the house over time, and just you could reapply them to the roof shingles using silicone, and then you put a thin layer of silicone and then you resprinkle the granules on top so that the granules take the beating from the sun and protect the silicone from degradation. And silicone can pretty much last under sunlight for decades in itself. But with that um, protective sheathing of the little rocks, they're called roof granules, the silicone probably could last, who knows, like, and would those rocks come out of the silicone eventually? Maybe it really would have a hard time coming out. Maybe it would over time, though. I don't know, like in storms. Just little by little, the years start ticking away. It may start doing it again. But I feel like you could just keep doing this process of adding silicone and re-adding granules and just never have to replace the roof. Also, there are techniques of revitalizing roof shingles. There's like, you can look this up, like mineral oil plus um, soybean oil plus vitamin E oil plus um, like roofing clear coat. You mix it all up into this mixture and it creates like a sticky glue that soaks in and brings back pliability and removes brittleness from old shingles. It soaks in deeply and it makes everything more waterproof and more glued together because you're adding in some of that clear roof coating. That's like a UV resistant glue type vibes, and cause the granules to stick better and get resealed better tight to the granules. And then the underlying tar paper or whatever that the granules are stuck to, like, gets nice and flexible again. And everything just gets very well lubricated and just like healthy again, and it's like better than new. And you can do that type of treatment every so often, repainting things like that, and be able to potentially, theoretically, extend the life of your roof indefinitely for like your whole life, like 60, 70 years. And that would be the ultimate. So I'm going to try to cause my roof to never fail that way, just by doing that like once every 5 years or something. Um, just treating and coating things and then maintaining it well. And I'll just regularly inspect it. Like once every couple of years, I'll look very carefully at everything. Make sure everything looks very healthy and like just make sure it's all perfect looking. And so I think I'll never have to replace the roof again. And so basically, I'm just saying like how I can keep my costs super, super low, my holding costs. Um, and then that way the tenant's rent is like all profit. That's my plan. Another thing is, I was looking into like rock gardens and like heavy asphalt type landscaping options and stuff, but I realized like all the neighbors just have like plain grass front yards and hardly anything making it nice. It's in the ghetto. So I decided I wanted just to look like the neighbors and just be plain grass. Like probably not have much of anything as far as decorative. Maybe like the neighbors will have like one decorative bush that they barely keep like trimmed. That's like there's not much of that around. In fact, the most popular decoration in the front yard is like a tire. People put a tire in the front yard, and then there's like weeds growing out of the top of the tire. That's their big decoration idea. So, so okay, and I'm not a big fan of that look. I don't think it looks super high end, nice decoration. Okay, so the reason I was thinking of like an asphalt or rock garden type design was to reduce the amount of mowing. Eventually, I'm gonna have to start mowing my property. Right now, a neighbor is mowing my property for free, and I don't even know which neighbor it is, but I have a strong suspicion I know who it is, but I'm not positive. I never met the guy. But I think a guy 2 doors down does his, and then the one between mine and his, and then mine, and maybe even the one to the right of mine. And I don't know if he has a push lawnmower or a riding lawnmower. The guy's like 70 years old, and he owns the property between mine and his. He's fixing his up. He's probably going to rent it out. He's got contractors that do the work, and that's all I know. So I haven't met him yet, but I think maybe he hires out someone that he tells them to do those 4 lawns. Because for so many years, mine was an abandoned property, and he didn't like the eyesore of that right next to the 2 properties he owns. He's trying to make his block look better and probably improve the property values of his block. And that was maybe part of the reason why I bought this, because I saw his nice house and some of the houses he's maintained the yards of, and I felt more comfortable buying because of that. So it was smart of him to do this. And he's still doing it despite him, I'm sure, noticing that I'm starting to work on this house. He's still mowing it for me. He's done that all summer so far. And we're in July, first week of July right now. So that's pretty nice. But he could stop any day. He could be like, oh man, this guy's already working here all the time. He needs to do his own lawn. And then I'd have to figure that out. So because of that, in order to keep my holding costs down, I'm definitely not going to pay somebody to mow the lawn. And so I would have to mow it myself. I did get a hitch-mounted luggage carrier for my wife's vehicle, which we share. And I can use that to bring my dad's push mower to the property, and I can mow it myself that way. So that way I don't have to buy a mower, and that will save me $300 right there. But a longer-term solution for the life of the property is I don't want to have to mow it. I want that to be automated. So I decided to make a robot lawnmower. And I already got the parts on order and stuff. I tried to do as cheap as possible, but it's looking like the total cost of the mower will be around, like, let me think, around $40 or $50. Oh, no, wait a minute. No, because I bought a hoverboard, a broken for parts hoverboard for $42. So that made the price go up a lot more. So it's going to be like $85. The hoverboard was just too good of a deal to pass up because it's going to give me a silent mower. Like I'm using a car alternator as the motor slash engine that turns the blade. I'm converting that to a motor, and that should run pretty quietly and be super high torque and super awesome. And then the hoverboard will give silent movement to it to drive, and it comes with a lot of the electronics I'll need. And I'm currently planning on having it be a corded mower, which is unheard of. And another thing unheard of is I'm planning mine to be a mower and weed whacker in one. So it's going to have an articulated swinging mowing blade arm that's kind of like a weed whacker that's going to swing left and right, and it will be able to position it to do edging and stuff. So this mower will not need to be followed up with somebody to weed whack afterward. It's going to do everything. And I'm thinking now about potentially building a robotic snow shovel solution that does the shoveling for the tenants someday. But I'm not positive on that. I might just tell the tenants, hey, like, here's some snowshoes you can use to bring out the trash. Or you can shovel it yourself. It's up to you. But I'm serious about that. I think if I provide snowshoes, they'd be able to put their regular shoes into the snowshoes, strap their foot on, and walk on top of the snow to the backyard to take out the trash. But then to get from the front door of the house to their vehicle in the road, they would have to walk through snow unless if they brought the snowshoes to work. So they would have to shovel then. I don't think landlords are required legally to shovel the snow for the tenants. I'm not sure on that. I'd have to research more, but it would be nice to like have a robot do the shoveling. I don't want it to be so active that I have to do regular chores there. So my plan is to try to be somewhat hands off. I mean, property management companies don't come and shovel snow, I don't think, for every tenant situation. So I don't think I have to do that. But apartment complexes, I think, do that. And this is kind of that vibe since I'm renting by the room. But I'm not sure if I have to do that or not. We'll see. I'm planning to have a lot of surveillance now, and that will be signed off for and approved on the rental property. Every room but the bathroom and private bedrooms will have video surveillance inside the house so I can see who's stealing or whatever. I got the idea originally because, or if somebody breaks in, it's theft deterrent as well. But it's also deterrent against people being a slob and making a mess. I'd be able to know who's doing it without hearsay. I'd have video proof, and I'd be able to confront the tenants if they're making a mess in the main living areas. And I'm going to have a lot of video surveillance on the exterior too, so I'll be able to know everything going on. I'm going to have audio surveillance as well, and as part of the lease agreement, they will have to sign giving consent to audio and video surveillance in all common areas. Not their bedroom, not the bathroom, just the common areas. So I'll be able to use that in a eviction proceeding or whatever to prove like this person broke these rules, and I have video evidence and audio. But the idea came from, I was like, okay, if we've got garbage in the kitchen, a garbage can, who's going to take that out? And ChatGPT was like, you could take it out. I'm like, no, I'm not going to take out garbage. And man, those things at my house, they feel like every day I have to take out trash from the laundry room. Every 2 days. You can make a lot of trash, especially if you buy all your mail from Amazon. And I don't know, we just make so much trash. So that's out of the question. I'm not going to drive there every single day to take out trash. How can you scale that? What if I got 10 properties? Am I going to be like full-time trash man? Like, that's ridiculous. No real estate investor is going to do that. And I'm not paying somebody to do that. That would cost a lot to have somebody coming to pick up trash all the time. So then the tenants would have to do it. But then they'll be mad if like somebody else is making all this trash and they have trash days that they have to go take out the trash. People don't want chores. So I'm like, how do you deal with this then? And my solution was simple. There will be no trash receptacles in any common room. If you want a trash in the kitchen, for example, because you're cooking and you have to make trash, you would bring your receptacle from your bedroom to the kitchen. You'd use that to throw trash into it, and then when you're done with whatever you're doing in the kitchen, you would take your trash receptacle back to your bedroom, and that'd be your bedroom trash receptacle. You would be responsible to only take out your own trash that you produce. This way, nobody will have this feeling like they're doing other people's chores. And that's the main thing. That's what I would want as a tenant. I'm trying to put myself in their shoes. So I don't want to clean up others' trash, but I'm totally fine taking out my own trash. So that's how I'll do it. There will be no common trash. I'm renting by the room, 4 rooms, 4 different tenants. So that's how I'll do it with the trash. I'm going to try to give them no chores if I possibly can. Snow shoveling, I don't know how we're going to work that out. But like I said, I could create a robotic snow shoveler potentially. And that's a strong possibility. In fact, it's like 90 something plus percent I will be doing that. That would be awesome too. It's a fun project. Especially for a roboticist like me. It's like, that's my bread and butter. Oh, back to the robotic lawnmower. Why corded? Because batteries degrade over time, blah, blah, blah. Corded would just be lower maintenance, I feel. And you'd save the initial cost of batteries. But now that I bought the hoverboard to get parts out of it for like $42 on eBay, which has amazing high torque motors that are quiet and brushless for their wheel hub motors. That's perfect for a robot lawnmower. It comes with batteries. So I would have some batteries through that, and it might be enough to handle the main mower blades, plus the articulation of the main mower arm that has the metal weed whacker blade on it, and also the hoverboard wheels, and the cameras and onboard laptop computer that handles the computer vision. It might be enough to do that with the hoverboard batteries, maybe. But then you have to figure out how you're going to do the docking station and everything else, and I don't know if that's completely reliable on how it would dock and be able to charge itself. It has to be reliable, and I feel like here's the advantage of extension cord. You don't have to worry about reliable docking. It will always have power guaranteed. The next benefit is that extension cord, which will be actively reeled in and unloosened from the top of the mower, so it will be reeled up on the mower itself. As the mower drives, it could be loosening some slack to give it more cord to be able to reach further distances. That's a huge theft deterrent because somebody would have to cut a live wire to be able to get that mower. And I don't think a lot of people want to take a wire snipper and cut through an extension cord. It's going to make a loud pop, and that's scary. And a lot of people don't want to cut a live wire. I've done it before on accident or even on purpose, but it's always kind of startling. So that's a somewhat deterrent. The other deterrent will be it will look super homemade and ghetto looking. And that might help. And then I'm also planning to have like it's computer vision, like really keep an eye on everything, knowing its surroundings. And if somebody comes walking up, especially someone it doesn't recognize, I can just have it quickly drive into its docking station and close the door behind itself. So it can act like a squirrel or any other wild animal that if you were to walk up on it, it will run into the woods and hide and just be gone quickly. I can have it behave that way in order to prevent vandalism or theft. Same thing would go with the snowblower, if I made a robotic snowblower. All right, so those are just some of my tips of how I'm keeping holding costs very, 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 very low. And that keeps stress down, maximizes profits in the long run, and enables me to take my time and not feel like overwhelmed, like I need to be working there all day, every day. I can still do my own projects at home and not have to just no life it on that. So I can have more of a work-life balance and everything.